Hey guys, IKhanWhisper here with another Warhammer 40K book collection. It's been quite a while now. I think it might have been like a year or something, which seems ridiculous, but here we go, back at it. I have another bunch of books saved up here to go through that I've read in the meantime. And we're going to start off with where I left off last time, which is Fire Warrior. I had just started reading it when I did the last one. I was like that far into it, but I've since completed it and can say that it is a good book. It's very action-packed, I would say. It definitely reads like a video game. So I can see how they easily transformed this into the video game that I remember playing back in the day. And it's pretty close to it. It's pretty, I don't know, there are some differences. But understandably so. It's pretty close though. And it's a pretty good source of information on the Tau for Warhammer 40K, and I think I quoted not quoted, but I referenced a few things from this when I created the recent Tau Empire lore video I created. So definitely paid off in that. It's a pretty good book. Lots of chaos stuff and the Tau not being prepared to handle it, really. Just being like, this is too spooky for me. That's their reaction. But anyway, moving on. Next we have Mechanicum by Graham McNeil. So this was really cool. This one is in the Horus Heresy series, and talks about that schism kind of forming at the beginning of the Horus Heresy, so the Dark Mechanicum, how that comes to be. This is their like origin story, and it's really good. It's really interesting. It kind of showcases the technology that this isn't even like the pinnacle of mankind's technology in this in the Warhammer 40K universe, but just how much they had even in Warhammer 30K before all the Horus Heresy stuff, because they have some really cool stuff going on here. There's a lot about, I think in one of my Warhammer, like Dawn of War 3 videos, when I was doing a Let's Play of that, which I should pick up soon. I've been thinking about playing that some more and just finishing it. But I was talking about not seeing, they're called knights. They're like tiny one-man titans, kind of like on a mech warrior scale. But I was like, I haven't seen those in books before. But this one, they're pretty prominent in it, and so are Titans. So it's pretty cool. I really like this one. And I don't like to spoil too much of the plot, so I try to not give too much away, but still talk about it. So servitors are in it a lot. Trying to make, I don't know, I don't want to say too much, but there's a lot of cool technology in this. Get to see more of like the tech priests and stuff. And they did have kind of like a bit more freedom and autonomy here before the Horus Heresy. And it's interesting the books that are made specifically for or about the Mechanicum, because the tech priests and everything have more like personalities and drives and things. So it's interesting to see it from their point of view instead of how they are in a lot of other things where they're just kind of like mindless robots, pretty much. Just spouting out random things about the Omnissiah and the machine gods and stuff, machine spirits. So it's always interesting. So I like this book and the Dan Abnett book, Titanicum? I don't know why I can't remember the exact title right, but one of those two is another really good one. Alright, moving on here. Another Caiaphas Cain, another Cain novel. You guys, if you've watched probably most of the book collection videos, have one of these books in it, but I'm a big fan of this series, this Sandy Mitchell series. I'm reading another one right now, actually, called Caves of Ice. And that one I literally just started. I'm like 30 pages in, probably. But they're very good. If you like the Imperial Guard novels, which I always like the Imperial Guard. I don't know why. I just kind of like the idea of it's just like a bunch of normal people just fighting these crazy enemies. They're just fighting the Tyranids and the Orcs and Chaos, and it's just a bunch of just normal humans. They're not like super space marines. They're just like, well, if you read the books, they're like, oh, they're like the pinnacle of technology and they're invincible, but they lose a lot of space marines too, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Imperial Guard, and these are very good ones. They don't take themselves too seriously, like a lot of the other ones are. Not in a bad way, but they definitely kind of do, in their own over-the-top manner. But this one has some humor elements built in, which is kind of unique and interesting and done very well. So I always recommend them. And in this one they have to go stop a chaos invasion, and it's on this interesting planet where it's like it's a really weird climate. Like half of it is an ice world and the other half is desert. I'm not sure how that works unless it has some kind of weird rotation where it's like not facing the sun somehow on that one side. I don't know. But anyway, that's how it is. And he's with the Valhallan regiment always, so they like a good ice world, which is how it is in the book I'm reading right now, the Caves of Ice. But anyway, we'll move on to The Killing Ground by Graham McNeill. So this is another Graham McNeill novel. Getting two in here, but I think Graham McNeill and Dan Abnett are the two huge names in the Black Library for Warhammer 40K books. So they're always producing some high quality novels, and both two big contributors to the Horus Heresy. So yeah, anyway, in this one, this must be part of some series. I guess the Ultramarine something series, because it kind of picks up in the middle. But one thing that I like about pretty much every Warhammer 40K book I've read is even if they're part of a series, they are fairly standalone still. Like they'll be their own, I don't know, compartmented little single one-shot adventure. Even if it does fit into a larger narrative, you can just read one out of order and enjoy it. So in this one, it's 2 Ultramarines, which is like a captain and a sergeant, I think, where, and this part right now I'm telling about is kind of outside of the scope of the story, but they tell about it. So they did something that I can't remember now. They went against orders or something, but still trying to do a good thing, pretty much. I think it was saving people somehow. But anyway, they got in trouble for that, and they actually were kind of kicked out of the Ultramarines, and they had to go on like a penitence mission or something. I forget what they call it, but they're not expected to survive. They like went on an attack mission into like the Eye of Terror, and they actually like fight their way through some kind of like chaos Space Marine Forge world, and then find a way out, and they end up coming out of the warp and ending up on this one planet that is called something that doesn't say on the back of the cover. So I don't remember the name, but that planet happens to have a dark history of its own, which is why they were teleported there, because the warp was thin there. Is that how they say it? I want to say the veil was thin, but that is not from this. That is from Dragon Age. But, you know, essentially the same thing. I don't know, the boundary between the warp and the material realm was thin there, so it causes all sorts of problems because they make it thinner. But very well written book, very interesting. And moving on to the last one here is Ravenor by Dan Abnett. So this one was a little bit different. It's not just a straight up war book like pretty much all the other ones that I've read. I think all of them are centered around wars and battles and things, full of action. But this one does have action, but it's more like a police kind of detective-y novel, I guess. So Ravenor is an inquisitor, but he was super badly wounded, and his body, or what's left of it, is like encased in this kind of like chair thing shaped like a person-y kind of thing. So kind of like, I don't know, I think of like a golden throne, except I think his is like black. Yeah. So anyway, he's encased in like a little floaty chair thing that he gets around, and it kind of like boosts his psychic power because he's a super strong psyker. And his kind of special thing is he can like take over people's bodies and like use them. So he has like a team of specialist agents he sends out, and he can, when they're in tough situations, like take control of their body and do some crazy stuff that they wouldn't normally be able to do. And they're hunting down a supplier of a dangerous like psychic drug thing that's becoming a major issue, and they're trying to find the source, and like going on different planets and stuff and investigating. It's really good. It's really well written. And Ravenor is like a student of Eisenhorn, I believe, and that I haven't gotten to those novels yet, but that's also a Dan Abnett novel, I believe. But I did, in one of the Warhammer sales, I bought the book Eisenhorn, and that is not the best game, but it's interesting enough. I think it was only like a couple of bucks or something when it was on a super sale at some point, so it's worth that. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, the combat's not too difficult and it moves a little slowly, but has a lot of quotes from the book, so there's some cool things coming out of it, and just seeing the Warhammer 40K setting is pretty cool. So yeah, those were all the books that I had. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry this video was a long time coming. But yeah, leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed, if you'd like to see more. Definitely more Warhammer 40K content on the way. Something I really enjoy and like bringing to you guys. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.